We are back, and we are in Australia. It is time for the Grand Prix, in which Sam would be starting from pole position. He took the fastest time in qualifying yesterday, with his teammate Ethan lining up alongside him on the front row for a Red Bull front row lockout. Anti Lane in the McLaren, fantastic qualifying effort from him. He gets P3 on the grid. Davis SRA P4, Nunes Garcia, perhaps unexpected, but already has looked pretty good to start this season so far. P5 for his efforts. P6 for Nashi in the other McLaren top rack. A fantastic qualifying from him as well for P7. Isian P8, Francesco P9, and Grace Hunter runs off our top 10. Where can we expect to see the Red Bulls and the McLarens finish? At the end of this race, you would expect them to be the front runners. Here in Australia, they have the best car, but as you would know as well, Red Bull have upgraded their driver stats, so perhaps they may have the advantage over McLaren in this race. But as you can see, the grid lines up from P1 to P22. Who will come out ahead into turn 1? It's a wet race here in Australia. The drivers are going to have to contend with very bad weather. The wet tires are out and we are down into turn 1. Sam gets away well, and Ethan is side by side with Anti Lane down into turn 1. Sam maintains his lead, and Anti Lane is fighting Ethan. Into turn 3 and turn 4 we go, and they are still side by side. Ethan just about stays ahead. Anti Lane concedes position and he gets ahead. He gets ahead of Ethan. Of course, we know the battery is very, very dependent on how quickly drivers can move in a straight line, and it seems as though Anti Lane has used up a lot of his battery to get ahead of Ethan. Ethan now being put under a lot of pressure from the Cadillac driver right behind him, and Anti Lane immediately loses P2 again now that his battery has been drained, and Davis SRA now putting pressure on the McLaren driver. As we head through this high-speed chicane, Ethan maintains P2 and Sam maintains his lead after lap 1, it would seem. And wow, what a move that is. Anti Lane takes the racing line against Ethan. Ethan down the inside, and he maintains his position. What a move. What defense. That was a late attacking move from Anti Lane, but everyone kept it clean. No collisions made, and Sam leads lap 1 ahead of Ethan, ahead of Anti Lane. Davis SRA top rack in the Mercedes. Nunes Garcia drops a position. Isian as well. Down into P9, Hunter P8, and that is our grid. After lap 1, we have it settled. After some time has gone by, these tires are needed for these conditions. It is so wet on this track. Not even the intermediate tires must be used. The full wet blue ringed tires are being used by everyone. Sam has put in the fastest first sector at 29.786. First sector set by Sam in that Red Bull. Of course, you could imagine by now he's using a lot of his battery, and he's extending his gap ahead of his teammate Ethan. Just over a second now. And he is leading this race comfortably. Sam set the fastest first sector, but Ethan sets the fastest middle sector. And Jonas, as you can see, side by side there with the Racing Bulls, as Francesco begins to super clip and loses that position. Guaranteed there for sure, but what a race beginning this is. Francesco comes back with more battery now against the Williams of Harry, and he regains 15th position, fighting Jonas now for P14. Perhaps Jonas will be expecting to finish a bit higher up with his teammate, who currently sits in P7. And the pit stops are coming in. The engineers are telling their drivers that it is not going to be wet for much longer. The dry tires are coming out here. Anti Lane, the first one to put on the dry tires. Could that be a mistake? It looks like it is. It is still absolutely wet. The track is still wet. You can see the spray still coming from anti-lane. You check his telemetry, which we'll see in a second, I'm sure. Look at the speedometer. He's not even crossing 200 kilometers an hour. Anti-lane and many drivers behind him have decided to pit. And clearly it is too early for slick tires. Anti-lane goes on to the hard tire. We have a lot of different choices back there between the hard and the soft tire. No one opting for the medium tire. But this has to be a mistake by the McLaren driver. Nashi though stays out on the wet tires ahead. He claims P3 as of now, but every single dry tire runner, I think they have made a big mistake pitting this early. The track is still wet and you can still see there is still spray coming from the bottom of these cars. Meaning the track is still damp. Sure, it's not requiring wet tires at this point, but still intermediate tires would still be even faster than slick tires at this point. Anti-lane can't even push. Sam now comes to the pits. Might this be the right timing? It might still be a lap too early. Still spray coming off from these cars. Nashi passes Toprak. Nothing Toprak could do about that. Perhaps Nashi may have drained his battery. Could Toprak come back at him? We'll see in a second. But Ethan sets the fastest first sector, and that is how you know. That is how you know that the slick tire runners have made a mistake. That is how you know the slick tire runners have made a mistake. Ethan goes quickest in the first sector, still on those wet tires. Can Ethan supersede Sam for first place when Ethan eventually pits onto the slick tires? Look, as you can see. And there it is. There it is. The tire temperature is starting to blink. That means it is time for slick tires. Ethan has timed it to absolute perfection. Everyone before him has pitted a lap or too early. Just simply, they've pitted too early. Sam is pushing like an animal to stay ahead of Ethan, who will come out first here. This is incredible. Ethan, as you would remember, had a massive gap between himself and Sam before pitting. Can Ethan, who is now in the pits, Sam is pushing. Sam is absolutely pushing to stay ahead of Ethan. I think Sam has pitted one lap too early. Could his lead that he has built up ahead of his teammate be overturned? Ethan is heading up the pits. His Sam sets the fastest third sector. He crosses the line. They come together. And Ethan stays ahead of Sam. Incredible. Sam, what a huge mistake that is, to pit one lap too early. How much more so, even worse, all the drivers who pit 2 laps too early. Ethan timed it to absolute perfection. And look where that leaves Anti-Lane sitting in P8 behind the Haas of Leo and Nguyen. And his teammate now, Nashi, everyone is now on slick tires, and Nashi is in P3. What a huge mistake that is. Most of the grid simply pit 1 or 2 laps too early, and that has absolutely destroyed their race. Anti-Lane, who was running comfortably in P3, now sits P8. We are now in lap 8 with Anti-Lane. Can he make some progress after deciding to pit too early in a safety car? A safety car has been deployed. AYM is out the race. And the race is neutralized. Oh my goodness, the race is neutralized. And everyone will bunch up together. AYM out of the Australian Grand Prix. And it seems to his own error as well. No one crashed into AYM. He seemed to have been the one who caused his own crash, due to receiving a 5-second time penalty as he crashed out the race. That is a real shame for AYM, who is out of the Australian Grand Prix. It is now lap 10, and the safety car would be heading in this lap. All the cars have bunched up together. It is Ethan, Sam, Nashi, Toprak, Izyan, Nunes Garcia, Nguyen, Anti-Lane, Davis Essere, and Grace Hunter. That makes up your top 10. Heading in to begin lap 11 as the safety car would be in this lap. Remember, no racing until the start-finish line. Sam is waiting to see when his teammate goes. And he goes. And it is full gas. Full gas now, down at turn 1. Can Sam challenge Ethan through turns 1, turn 2, and down into turn 3? If anything, is looking like Nashi is quicker and closing in faster to Sam than Sam is to Ethan. Can Ethan pull away while he has a chance against his teammate Sam? Sam has not gotten the better of Ethan this season so far, and Sam was looking comfortable out in front until he decided to pit one lap too early onto those slick tires, and he is paying the price for it now. His teammate is pulling away from him now as Nashi in that McLaren is trying his best to catch up to Sam, who was on those hard tires. What can we make of this safety car restart? It seems like everyone has pretty much stayed in their relative positions as Nashi follows Sam and Ethan, who is P1 at the moment. Can Ethan win 2 out of 3 Grand Prix to begin the season? He would be hoping that would be able to happen. Nashi P3 followed by Toprak in P4, Izyan P5, Nunes Garcia P6, in Nguyen. In the Haas, can they score points for the first time this season? After 3 rounds, he currently sits in P7 ahead of the McLaren of Antti Lane, who sits in P8. Davis Asare P9 and Grace Hunter P10. And the Alpine man, Izyan, decides to head into the pits. These soft tires, he's complaining on the radio saying these soft tires have given up. I need to change my tires, says Izyan. He goes from soft tires to more soft tires. Can he get to the end? Just 12 to 13 more laps on these soft tires. We'll see if he'll be able to make it to the end. Out in front, Ethan has put a 7 to 8 second gap between himself and his teammate Sam. He would have used up a lot of his battery consistently to make that gap. My goodness, what a gap that is. Sam completely being outpaced by his teammate, who is out in front currently. And Izyan is ready to take the fight here to the Haas driver of Blitzo. He'll be hoping to clear him as soon as he can, and there we go. Izyan clears Blitzo quite easily, and he's up into P12. He'll be hoping to make progress as soon as he can throughout this race. And here is Leo Nguyen. He is putting pressure on the McLaren driver. Both of them have 11 old tires, except the only difference is Leo Nguyen has hard tires and Nashi has soft. And I can assure you that 11 old hard tires are absolutely better than 11 lap old soft tires. These hard tires are lasting a long time here in Australia, and Leo Nguyen gets ahead of Nashi. Leo Nguyen is in P4. Here we are with Antti Lane in the McLaren. Now lap 20 of 29. And Harry picks up a 5-second penalty. And all of a sudden, Arjun Rao, as you see on the left-hand side, is in the wall and out of this race. Harry makes contact with Arjun Rao. And that is bad contact as well. Arjun, the Ferrari man, is out of this Grand Prix. We have that virtual safety car. Not a full safety car, just a virtual safety car. So no bunching up. Just for about half a minute. All drivers follow Delta pace. And they continue racing. Antti Lane chasing his teammate Nashi. And here we are now with Antti Lane chasing down his teammate Nashi, who is on those soft tires. Antti Lane will be hoping to get past his teammate here. McLaren versus McLaren. Who can come out on top at the end of this race? Antti Lane will be hoping that he can. But it is Izyan who completely flies past Antti Lane on those fresher, soft tires. My goodness, what a move that was. Completely unchallenged by the McLaren man. Can Izyan now chase down Nashi in the other McLaren. These soft tires, fresh soft tires, are proving to be very beneficial here for the Alpine driver. Can Nashi fight this move? Can he do anything about this? The speed drops off at the end of the straight, you imagine. And another virtual safety car. Another virtual safety car. It is now Francesco. And you can see him there. Francesco in the Racing Bulls is now out of this race. Yet another virtual safety car. And that would temporarily neutralize the race for, again, about half a minute. The virtual safety car would last for. But that is so unfortunate. Francesco, possibly could have been expecting point in this race, is now out of the Australian Grand Prix. As we are on board again with Ethan, who continues to lead and dominate this race. 10 seconds ahead of his teammate Sam, who is in P2. Red Bull looking very, very clear of this race. And what a mistake, what a fumble that is by the McLaren drivers, who decided to pit just too early and have lost out massively from where they would be expecting to finish. They're still currently P5, and Nashi, as well as you can see in the pits, decides to go into the medium tires. Can Nashi make some progress on these fresh medium tires? He will fall back in the pack. He will fall down the order as expected when you pit, but Nashi will be hoping that these medium tires will be able to let him get through the field as quick as possible. And a 5-second time penalty has just been assigned to Nashi, who currently sits in P15. We are on lap 24 out of 29, and Nashi picks up yet another 5-second time penalty. And that is a big collision. No virtual safety car or safety car required, but Nashi now has to serve a 10-second time penalty now. We are on lap 27 out of 29, and both Izyan and Ethan have decided to pit with just 2 to 3 laps to go. Is that a mistake? Especially from Ethan, who has to concede the lead of this race to his teammate Sam, who is on some very old hard tires. The gap is just over 4 seconds. Can Ethan supersede that gap before the end of this race? And we are here with Ethan. Ethan has caught up to his teammate Sam. And I think you know exactly what's going to happen. Ethan pulls to the left. Sam pulls to the right. Sam cannot do anything about that move. And Sam concedes the lead of this race yet again to his teammate Ethan. Ethan retakes the lead of the Australian Grand Prix. Sam comes back at him, but he can't do anything about that. Those hard tires are extremely old hard tires on the Red Bull of Sam. Ethan on those fresh soft tires cannot be detained. Sam has to concede P2 to his teammate Ethan yet again. After 3 races in a row, Ethan continues to outscore his teammate Sam. And Anti-Lane gets passed there by Toprak. Toprak will no doubt fight this one back very easily on with fresher tires and more battery. Anti-Lane easily passes Toprak there. And now Izyan actually even passes Toprak as well. Toprak falling like a stone at this point. But Izyan is trying to put the pressure on Anti-Lane here, right behind each other there. Izyan pulls to the right. Can he get ahead of Anti-Lane? Yes, he can. But for how long? They head into the high-speed section. Izyan stays ahead of Anti-Lane, but Anti-Lane comes back at him here on the left-hand side. Izyan concedes position. But for now, Izyan tries down the inside. He says not this time. Then round the outside goes Izyan on Anti-Lane. Who gets ahead? Who stays ahead? It is the Alpine man of Izyan who gets ahead and stays ahead this time of Anti-Lane. And he will be P5 for now, as Antilian will try to fight this one back, but it will be a challenge, you would imagine. Izyan is on those fresher soft tires. Nunes Garcia, meanwhile, watch this space. This is the last lap of the race. Nunes Garcia gets past Sam on the Red Bull. Incredible. Sam, who starts on pole, concedes the lead of this race to Ethan, his teammate, yet again. And Nunes Garcia, in the Audi, gets past Sam on the last lap with just a handful of corners to go. And it is Ethan. Ethan, who won the first Grand Prix in Bahrain, Sakhir, will come home to win the Australian Grand Prix. Ethan is the winner here at Albert Park. And Nunes Garcia, unbelievable. What a weekend from the Audi man, from P5 in qualifying to finish P2 ahead of a Red Bull. What an outstanding drive that is. Sam comes home to finish P3. What a disappointing race that was for him. Very, very unlucky. Or perhaps you might say deserved, deciding to pit too early onto those slick tires when the rain eventually stopped and everyone switched to slick tires. So it is Ethan, Nunes Garcia, Sam, Izyan, Leo Nguyen, P5. What a result that is. Anti Lane P6, Grace Hunter P7, Toprak P8, Davis SRA P9, and Macron P10. That rounds off your top 10. And don't forget as well, Toprak will have a 5-second time penalty assigned to him for that driver infringement as he has occurred, and that 5-second penalty will be assigned to him at the end of this race, which means he will not finish P8, he will finish P9. That promotes Davis SRA into P8, and Toprak will drop to P9. And here are the rest of the finishers. Harry, as you can see on our Williams, I think Harry has damage. We might be able to see in a moment if not, but Harry probably has damage and is already running on those old soft tires. What a race this was here in Australia. We had rain, we had dry, we had everything needed. We had a safety car, we had 2 virtual safety cars. What an exciting race this was. And there you have it. Ethan is your Australian Grand Prix winner. Nunes Garcia finishes P2 in his Audi. Fantastic result for him. Sam P3 in his Red Bull. He'd be wondering, how on earth have I finished in P3 after starting on pole? Izyan P4. Leo Nguyen P5 for Haas's first point of the season. Fantastic result from him. Chris P6, Anti-Lane P7, the Cadillacs P8 and P9, and Toprak rounds out our top 10 for the Australian Grand Prix. But after 3 rounds, it is Ethan who leads the World Drivers' Championship standings from 68 points to his teammate who sits on 37 in P2. Izyan on 30 points, Davis SRA just shy of him by 1 point, who sits in 4th on 29. That haul of points from Nunes Garcia just in one race puts Audi, the Audi driver P5 in the World Drivers' standings. Nunes Garcia, what a fantastic result from him in Australia. But after 3 rounds, it is Red Bull who leads the World Constructors' Championship standings, 105 points to Alpine's 45 and Cadillac's 43. Racing Bulls 27 points, Audi 18 points, McLaren 16, Ferrari 10, as well as Aston Martin. Haas now on 10 points after this 1 round from that haul of points from Leo Nguyen. What a result from him. And Williams as well now with only 2 points. They sit last in the standings. But don't go anywhere. We have the Spanish Grand Prix, May 22nd to May 24th. Don't forget as well, that will be a sprint weekend, so look out for that. We will see you next week here in Barcelona.